payoff. And so this week they wore t-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, Kelsey Plum for LA had to take a dig at Caitlin Clark.
Kelsey Plum, playing for LA, just couldn't resist taking a shot at Caitlin Clark. She thought tossing a little shade during All-Star Weekend would go unnoticed. Well, karma showed up faster than one of Clark's logo-range three-pointers. Her attempt at being slick backfired in a spectacular way, and now Plum is being dragged by everyone, from former NBA stars to folks all over social media. This whole situation has turned into absolute chaos. Do you think Kelsey Plum crossed a line with what she said about Team Clark, or was it just playful banter? Let us know your take in the comments.
Are really, really good. So the t-shirts don't bother me. But why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter.
And here we are again, watching grown women behave like they're stuck in middle school drama all over basketball. Kelsey Plum seriously believes she made a statement during All-Star Weekend when she threw some not-so-hidden jabs at Caitlin Clark. But the universe wasn't having it. Karma hit back immediately, and honestly, it was a beautiful moment to witness. Let's unpack this drama from the beginning, because it's just too entertaining not to analyze in full.
That was a very powerful moment. We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise. But the t-shirt, just united front, was determined this morning that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just... We had a very...
that really needed to be mentioned.
No, I'm trying to make a situation light, okay? But yeah, no, I think it was just all of us getting on the same page for the game. We wanted to do something that was just united and collective, and I thought that it was a very powerful moment and got the point across, and sometimes you don't have to say anything.
During the All-Star festivities in Indianapolis, which, let's be honest, was basically the Caitlin Clark Spotlight show. Even though she was sidelined with an injury, WNBA players decided it was time to make a bold statement. They all appeared in matching "Pay Us What You Owe Us" t-shirts, which was amusing on multiple levels. It's honestly hard to pick where to begin. For starters, the WNBA has been operating at a loss for a whopping 27 consecutive years. That's right, 27. This isn't some recent financial challenge, it's practically a built-in feature at this point. The league has never reported a profit, not once, ever. So when these athletes demand compensation they believe they're owed, it feels a bit like asking for your allowance right after getting grounded for breaking all the house rules.
Kelsey Plum was the leading all-time scorer in women's college basketball until Caitlin Clark passed her up her final season at Iowa. So there's that, right? But I think we all understand that there's plenty of jealousy for Caitlin Clark around the WNBA, her spotlight, the endorsements she gets, and her fame. But Kelsey Plum, I could imagine her feeling a type of way because she really had a very similar college career with none of that spotlight, none of that fame.
And this is where Kelsey Plum decided to turn up the heat. While speaking during the post-game press conference, she couldn't resist slipping in a subtle jab. She remarked how none of the players from Team Clark were very present for that, referring to the meeting where the group agreed to wear the shirts. Her level of pettiness was impossible to miss. You could see straight through it, as if it were made of clear plastic wrap.
I think what she was trying to do there was make sure that Caitlin didn't get credit for the shirts, not realizing the backfire on the shirts, that she didn't want to be associated. It was on purpose. But at the same time, kind of showing her hand in her cattiness towards Caitlin. So it just completely backfired on Kelsey Plum and Sabrina.
And let's talk about Sabrina Ionescu's reaction. Pure perfection. You could actually watch her expression drop the second Plum made the comment. She clearly understood what was going on, and she definitely wasn't on board with it. Sabrina tried to brush it off and bring some humor to the situation, but the damage had already been done. The shade was out there, and everyone in that room picked up on it.
By the way, This is the least profitable, arguably, it'll be over the next 10 years. It's only going to get more profitable as women's basketball gets better, as the Caitlin Clark momentum train gets bigger. I mean, this year, she's not playing well, she's hurt, she's not there for all the games, so this is actually not as great as it could be. Like Michael Jordan, hurt year 2, next 12 years were legendary. That's what it's going to be. So I think they deserve a big raise, maybe not 50% of revenues, because NBA stars, there's a lot of them, and they move the needle. The WNBA stars.
Now, let's get into why Plum's move was such a terrible idea. Caitlin Clark is quite literally the reason many of these players are still on the payroll. Before Clark entered the WNBA, the games were being played in arenas that resembled oversized family gatherings. Now, we're seeing packed stadiums and record-breaking television audiences week after week. Clark injected relevance, brought in attention, and, most critically, introduced a much-needed financial boost to a league that was struggling to survive. And yet, here's Kelsey Plum acting like Clark is the villain in their fight for fair compensation. It's the classic example of biting the hand that feeds you, except in this case, that hand is also paying your salary and keeping the arena lights on.
All right, you went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a 4 Seasons in the shopping district. Stop talking. I don't mind the t-shirts. I think you have leverage. I think you deserve more than 9%. But it's just misstep after misstep. It's time to grow up, girls, like fast. Like this is the player that got you off.
What makes this whole thing even more hilarious is that Plum actually thought she was being slick. She really believed she could drop that sly comment and everyone would back her up like, "Yeah, go get her, Kelsey." Instead, she was called out by just about everyone with common sense. Stacey King, a former NBA champ who won 3 rings with the Chicago Bulls, absolutely tore into Plum for what she said. And when someone who used to clash with Dennis Rodman on the court tells you you're being petty, it's a clear sign you've stepped over the line. King didn't hold back. He said, "These girls are making things worse for themselves by going after the one player who's generating all the revenue." His take was spot on. Here they are trying to make a case for higher pay, aiming to show unity at the league's premier event, and still, someone found a way to take a swipe at Caitlin Clark. Why?
Just look at how Sabrina reacted to Plum's words. It speaks volumes. Some of these players are acting childish and it's damaging the league. It's honestly disappointing to watch. A reality check from someone who knows exactly what it takes to win under pressure. Stacey King immediately saw what most people were thinking. This kind of behavior doesn't help. It hurts. It's embarrassing. But that wasn't the end of it. After tossing shade at Clark during All-Star Weekend, guess what happened? Kelsey Plum, a proud Under Armour athlete, showed up at a Nike event. And guess who saw the photos on Instagram? That's right, Caitlin Clark. Clark could have let it slide. She could have taken the classy route and ignored it altogether. Our girl came with icy, strategic revenge. She dropped a comment on Plum's Nike party post that read, "Thanks for the Nike ad." The boldness, the precision, the quiet savagery of that move. Clark essentially said, "Appreciate you hyping up my brand while wearing gear from your competitor." And she did it in the most composed and cutting way possible. It was like witnessing someone get taken out using pure politeness. The internet exploded. That post jumped from a few hundred likes to over 5,000 within hours. The comments section turned into a war zone, with people cracking up over Clark's comeback while others scrambled to defend Plum. But let's be honest, there's really no excuse for getting caught repping your rival's sponsor right after trying to drag them publicly.